We got some breaking news coming into the HQ. The Phoenix Suns have taken out the LA Clippers in 5 games, winning game 5, 136-130. It looked like Phoenix was going to run away with this thing on the back of Devin Booker's 47 points. Clippers made a game of it late. It got really tight in the final moments, but Phoenix holds on, and they advance to the Western Conference semifinals. And for more on the Suns beating the Clippers in 5, we bring in CBS Sports NBA insider Bill Reiter. Bill, what is your initial reaction to seeing what the Suns were able to do against the Clippers on this night?
A very good start for obviously a talented team, Russ. They have Kevin Durant, but it takes a while for a guy like KD to get in the mix with the Suns. The Clippers put up, I think, more of a fight, even though it ended in 5 games than most of us expected, given no Paul George and Kawhi Leonard missing several games with his own injuries. So I think for Phoenix, it's a good step. I'm not sure it was utterly dominant, but this is what they want. They want to survive, get used to each other, and move on in this postseason.
Look, they still have only lost 1 game when Kevin Durant is in uniform since picking him up. But it was Devin Booker really coming up huge. At one point in this game, he just kind of took over. It became like the Devin Booker showcase. Can they go all the way with a 2-headed monster here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're good enough. I'm interested to see them challenged and get kind of punched in the proverbial nose, which happens in the postseason for the most part when you make these runs, Russ. But I think you hit on something. As great as Kevin Durant is, I mean, he obviously is, and as much as he enhances the opportunity for everyone on that team to be successful, no one's going to benefit more than Devin Booker. I mean, this goes without saying, but you cannot double team Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And obviously you've got Chris Paul on the floor who knows how to move the rock. DeAndre Ayton is talented, but it is Devin Booker who's going to benefit in every single playoff game he's played with Kevin Durant so far. Booker has scored more than 25 points in every single one of those. He has looked so comfortable. He's getting easy shots. He's getting confidence. He's feeling his swagger. Absolutely. Devin Booker plus Kevin Durant plus the other guys they have make this team a legitimate title contender. There's no doubt.
Look, kudos to Phoenix. And it looked like they were going to run away with this game. But as you kind of mentioned, the Clippers, even without Kawhi and even without Paul George, they were able to come back. I mean, they came really close to pulling this one out of their hat somehow. Is there any worry at all, if you're a fan of the Suns, that, hey, we have a tendency to maybe take our foot off the gas just a little bit here? Or is that just the NBA where everybody makes a run?
No, I think there's I think there's reason to be concerned. It gave me pause. That will be tested in a much more, I think, empirical way going forward in the next series and if they advance the series after that. But no Paul George, very little Kawhi Leonard should equal for a Suns team that has Kevin Durant in the mix now. And this Suns squad, for the most part, as they're mostly constructed, made an NBA Finals a couple years ago. They should be able to make easy work of the Clippers. And even though this was a 4-1 series, it ended in 5, the Clippers played them tough. You noted they played them tough in this game, and toward the end of the game, it looked like the Clippers had a chance to win it and just kind of ran out of steam. So it's hard to really assess whether or not this is about the Suns kind of getting in a groove together or whether there are some actual concerns and problems with this team. We won't know, I think, until the Denver series or beyond. But it certainly gave me pause, Russ. With all respect to the Clippers, and they played really well, they should not be dangerous without superstars. Russell Westbrook is not one. It is impressive and interesting they were able to put up such a fight against such a talented Phoenix team.
What are we to make of the Clippers, and what do we make of them moving forward from here? Because if they have everyone on the court, you would think that's a contending team right there. But let's be honest. Kawhi hasn't been like a regular for a while. Paul George is hurt in this game. As you mentioned, Russell Westbrook. We're talking about a guy past his prime. Where are the Clippers at this point in their sort of development?
Yeah, so this is a Clippers team that bet everything on Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and without wading too far into the load management debate and whether or not guys should or should be able to sit repeatedly over the course of the regular season so they're available in the postseason. That is what they did, and it did not work. And they are not playing postseason basketball after these 5 games in the opening round because their stars weren't able to play. I think it is crisis time. Russ, talking to some sources in the Western Conference who are familiar with the Clippers thinking, I think there's going to be pressure on some of the folks in that front office to explain themselves, and there are going to have to be answers from Kawhi Leonard. Maybe, and that may just be internal. We know from his time with the Spurs several years ago where he had an ugly divorce with them. He doesn't like to be questioned about his health. He doesn't like to be disrespected. But internally, I think there's going to have to be some answers because they built their entire season and their entire model around we will have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard play markedly fewer games than is typical, so they are healthy in the postseason. They were not healthy in the postseason, and that means there are going to have to be some difficult questions that need to be answered in the offseason, Russ.
All right, that offseason starts now for the Clippers. The postseason continues on for the Phoenix Suns, and oh man, we get a doozy in round 2 because we got the Suns, who are the favorites in the Western Conference, and the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets. How do you like this matchup?
I don't think it's like really insightful to be like, I have no idea, but that's sort of where we are in the playoffs. So the Denver Nuggets have been there. They've done that. This is a core that has played together. We saw Jamal Murray in their game, their clinching game, move on, put up almost 40 points. I love Michael Porter Jr., what he brings to the mix. It hasn't been a consistent defensive effort for Denver, but they're coached by a defensive-minded coach, and we know that Nikola Jokic is amazing. So I think on the face of it, that would be the favorite, then they're the 1 seed. The thing about the Suns that we've been talking about is they have, I think, the highest ceiling of any team that's in the NBA, and obviously in this postseason, Russ. But we don't know yet whether some of the stumbles we saw, some of the inconsistencies, at times they were lackadaisical with the ball, at times the offense would grind to a halt a little bit, whether that was a product of just the Clippers being really impressive without their stars, or there's some inherent problems with a Suns team, as good as they've been with Kevin Durant, that have not had him in the mix very much. So this is a huge question mark in terms of who wins this series, who the favorite is, who even we think shows up in terms of this Phoenix Suns team. I think what we do know is this is a testing ground for each of these organizations, each of these teams, and obviously the winner makes the conference finals, and I think probably solidifies themselves as one of the favorites to win the entire thing when we get down to 4 teams.
Hey, man, I don't know who's going to win that series. I do know that it's going to be fun to watch it unfold because it's the Suns and the Nuggets in the conference semifinals. That's Bill Reiter, CBS Sports NBA Insider. Bill, thank you so much. And here's a look at the updated odds to win the Western Conference. The Suns still the betting favorites, and next in line, the defending champs and the number 1 seeds in the Western Conference. It's the Suns and Nuggets Game 1 coming your way Saturday in Denver.